Chapter 64 United States Army Air Force. He had known it wouldn't go away. It was never going to just go away. Stratton was not that kind of man. He read it 3 times, tried to keep his thoughts calm. He had always been the calculating one. That's why he had made such a good wingman for Johnny. It was hard to be calculating about this. For once he wanted to go in guns blazing, but there was nothing to aim his anger at. He couldn't hide it anymore. He would have to talk to Eleanor. He went to Perry, silently put the letter in front of the older man. Perry read carefully, looked up at Danny, quite stunned. "Are you a Yank, then?" Danny smiled wryly. "I really don't know how I fooled so many people for so long. Stratton had me pinned to Georgia in 2 minutes flat. I'm from Rome in Georgia. I got here with the help of family, as you can gather from what he wrote." Perry shook his head silently. "The man's a bastard. I wish I'd known. I wouldn't have let him within a mile of your office. I'm sorry, Danny. What are you going to do?" "I don't see how I can do anything but what he wants. If it's going to implicate my family, then I have to bend. I mean, from what I figure, the RAF will probably be able to incorporate me into one of the Eagle squadrons, and it'll be what it is. But my aunt's husband has business across all kinds of borders, and if Stratton somehow ends up on the trail of the people who raised me, I don't know how much he can do, but I can't let him hurt people who carry no responsibility for my actions. I'll have to go." Danny sighed, rubbed his eyes. "I came here to ask if I could go home early. I've been waiting for this letter. He made it pretty clear before he left that he wasn't going to let me off easy, that he reckoned I had a duty to make things right with my country. I haven't told my wife about it yet. I would like to go home and talk to her if that's all right." "That's perfectly fine, old chap. I really wish I'd known before. I am sorry, Danny. I'm going to make a few calls and see if I can pull in a few favors, but I'm not too hopeful. If he pulls the whole traitorous action against your country string too hard, a whole lot of things could come undone." He drove home. England was lovely in summer. There had been love here. He had fought for it, fought hard for it, and he didn't want to leave. It was lunchtime, and she wasn't home. He called the Hill homestead. Maggie answered. "Mrs. Hill, I have a very big favor to ask of you. I need to see my wife. There are some urgent things I need to talk to her about. Can I please come steal her early?" Eleanor was surprised to see him. She was filthy. She'd been knee-deep in a mud bog behind the dairy to unclog the drainage from the stables. "What are you doing here?" "I came to surprise you. We're going for lunch. I'm happy to see you're looking fancy." She wasn't amused. "Hose me off, would you?" There was mud everywhere, to her elbows, to her knees, smears on her face. He held the hose for her to wash arms and legs with, and then he couldn't resist. He put his finger on the hose and sprayed her shirt. She squealed at him and laughed. "You shit! Such language from a lady!" She wrestled the hose from him, and he was as wet as she was by the end of it, and she fell against him, laughing. He kissed her, held her and the moment tight. "Let's get you home and dressed. I really do want to take you for a date. Where would you like to go?" She came out of the bathroom with her hair in wild curly disarray and a flowery blue dress. He had to resist the urge to take her hand and drag her straight to the bedroom, but he had to face the ache in his heart another way. He had to talk it through with her. She picked a cafe in the village. She sat across from him and read through the menu carefully while he looked at her, at the grey eyes that read every nuance in his soul. He prayed that Johnny was right. He couldn't be without her, but he would give her choices. They had orange juice, and then she looked up at him. "This isn't just a fun outing, is it, sweetheart?" He shook his head. There it was. He told her. He spared her nothing. "I'll have to go, darling. I don't see another way." She was quiet for a time, looking intently at his face. "All right. I'm going to need to know some things. I don't really know where the Philippines are, and what kind of clothes I should be taking. Do you think we could have our own place? Or would we have to stay in some kind of Air Force married quarters? I'll probably need to buy a bunch of new clothes, right? What season is it there now?" Just like that. Just like that. She laughed softly. "Danny, did you think I would stay here to be with my empty house and some goats?"